Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we are back in the woods and we're going to be making some beef jerky. We're not using any fancy tools, we're not using any fancy dehydrators. We are going to be just making this over some hot coals and building our own tripod. And while we're out here, because it does take some time to make, I'm going to be cooking some food. So I'm going to be making some sausages and try out some nice fancy beers that I've bought. So let's get into the video. Right, the first thing we need to do is get a fire going. You want to start with this first because you want to make sure you're getting the fire ready so you can get enough coals so it's hot enough for you to start to make the beef jerky. This is the first thing you really should do. I'm starting off really basic and I'm using some cotton balls and Vaseline. Now, I see this as cheating, but I want to get a fire going quickly, so I'm using this instead of some old traditional ways. So I got myself some topside beef from the butchers. This is from my local butchers, which is Considerate Carnivore. They're amazing. If you are in the Hampshire area, then it's really worth trying them. They're really, really good. Now, I have bought the topside because it is very lean meat. You do not want very fatty meat for making your beef jerky. You want it to be as lean as possible. Fat means it goes off quicker, and we don't want that. We want it to last long. Hence the preservation of this. I have taken off the price because I know my wife will watch this and I don't want her to know how much I spent on this because she knows how much I like beef jerky. So, sorry. So we have got all this fat on here. Now what we need to do is we need to cut this off. We do not want any of the fat. Right, let's get this open. So this is a lot of meat, but don't forget that when you are making beef jerky, it does shrink. So this does look like a lot now, but it will break down small. So once you've got your meat and you've disposed of your fat, you want to decide how chewy you want this. Now, if you can see that these grains are going across, that's where the muscle fibers are. Now, if you cut along with these grains, you're going to have a chewier jerky. And if you cut against it, you can have a more softer jerky. So you need to decide which one you want. Now for me, I quite like a chewy jerky. So I'm going to slice this nice and thinly because, like I said, I like chewy jerky. I think it's nicer and tastes better. Now you want to make sure that you have a sharp knife for this. You don't want it to be blunt because otherwise you won't be able to get a good cut. But I'm slicing against, so this is what I'm going for. Got a tub here. I'm going to put all the meat in. Okay, I finished cutting up the beef. Here it is, and yes, it is a lot, but this will shrink down. So I've got all that cut ready. I'm going to seal this up to stop anything from getting into it for now, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the marinade. Because I want to add some flavour, I don't want to just have it just a plain beef jerky. So I've brought some things where we're going to make our own sauce. Right, it's time to make the marinade. So I start off with half a teaspoon of chili flakes, a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of garlic granules, a teaspoon of onion granules, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons of honey. You want 60 mils of white vinegar. Now I didn't bring anything to measure it, so I've got to do it with teaspoons. Then 60 mils of Worcester sauce. Sorry if I can't pronounce it right, because I actually don't know how to pronounce it, and I don't think anyone knows how to pronounce it. If you do, let me know in the comments below. And now you want 120 mils of soy sauce, or 24 teaspoons. So that is all I need for my marinade. I'm going to just give it a stir, make sure everything is mixed up and blended up. Right, now we've got our marinade, what we want to do is we want to pour this all over our meat, and then you will have to get down and dirty and mix it up. Now what you should normally do is you should actually marinate this overnight, or at least 24 hours, so you can get full flavour from it. But I'm going to marinate this for an hour, so I still will get some flavour in it. and I will have this marinade while I'm building the tripod, because that is the next thing we need to do. Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm mixing this really good and proper. I want every single piece of meat to be covered in the sauce so we can get full flavour throughout. Right, so that is the meat covered in my marinade sauce. I'm going to leave this to sit for an hour while I go and build a tripod. Now I'm going to occasionally shake this so I can make sure the flavour is mixing around. But yeah, leave this for an hour, make sure you seal it up, you don't want anything getting into it, and we'll get back to this in a minute when it's ready to put it over the coals. Right, it's time to build the tripod. I got myself 3 sticks. So to build your tripod, you need the 3 large sticks, and then you need some cordage. So I've got myself some cordage here. What you want to do is tie a knot around one of them. Right, now we've got our 3 with one tied up. What we're basically doing is we're going to weave our cordage around the logs. So we can hold this perfect so you can see. So we're going behind the middle one, over the third one, and behind the third one, in front of the second one, behind the first one. And that's basically what you're aiming for. So we're going in front, behind, in front. And then you're going to keep doing that until you have reached the end of your cordage. So I've reached the end of my cordage, so I've got a tiny little bit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie that off because we don't need it anymore. So do any fancy knot you want, doesn't really matter, just get it all tied up. Right, now we've got our 3 bundled up like this. If we were to open this up and make a tripod, it is not strong enough to hold it up. It will wobble around and that. So a top tip is that you can actually spin around the middle one so you can get this tightened up and it will be a little bit stronger. So if I move back and I'll show you. So what you want to do is you want to, however you can, grab the middle one and spin it around. So what that does is that's tightened it up more, so you will get a stronger tripod. And that's what it looks like. So we got our tripod, and now what we need to do is make a rack. So what we're going to get is we're going to get 3 sticks to go across this way. So we're going to tie it off, and that's going to hold the rack in place, and then we'll place some sticks alongside to hold all the pieces of meat. So let's get some sticks. Right, so I've got my tripod now, and I've got 3 pieces going across. This is another part of the frame. I've used wire to hold this up because I ran out of cordage. I wasn't 100% prepared, unfortunately, but that's fine. I had some wire. So I've got these on here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have sticks going across, as many as I can, so I can hang the meat off of, and then that is where we're going to have it dry from. This should be high enough so it does dry without it cooking, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this onto the fire now so we can see if it fits properly. Right, I've got my tripod above. It is in a perfect position where I can feel the warmth, but it's not too much. The smoke is blowing in that direction, so it might not be as easy to get it as smoky, but that's not the end of the world because I have seasoned it, we are marinating it. It should be nice and flavoured anyway. But what I need to do is create some racks to go across so we can hang the beef jerky on the top. But that is a nice heat for it to dry, and it's not going to cook it. So let's make the rack. Right, so I've got my rack. I have put all the sticks up here and I have scraped off all the bark, so they are ready for hanging the meat on. I had to add a few more sticks on just to keep it hot, but what you want is to be able to hold your hand underneath here for about 5 to 6 seconds before it gets too uncomfortable. So that is probably the perfect temperature. I've let this marinate for about an hour and a half, so that is more than I expected. But yeah, it smells really good, so it's time to get it on the fire. So my GoPro battery died as I was putting the stuff on the rack, but just to show you, I've just finished. It has taken a while. Now, that is what it looks like so far. So this has all just been put on here. So it is in the starting part of the drying process. Now, I had a lot of meat. I was wondering if I had too much. Well, there's no such thing as too much, but I definitely had a lot. But I managed to just get every single piece on here. So I've got all the meat on here, and the wind has died down as well. So the smoke is starting to go up a bit. So we should hopefully get a smoky flavour too. So this is a long process. It does take a very long time to dry this, but all I've got is time. So I'm going to leave this for a bit. I'm going to gather some more sticks and stuff just in case I need it. Make sure I keep this at a nice temperature. We don't want it to be too big. But yeah, it's looking good. It's looking really, really nice. Now, some tips that I would suggest if you are doing this that I didn't do is that I would say pat the meat down. So once you've taken it out of the marinade, I would pat the meat down to get as much moisture off of it as possible. This will reduce the amount of time it takes to dry it. I didn't do this, so it will take a little bit longer. But again, that's fine. I've got all day. It's absolutely okay. So I would recommend doing that. Also, if you do happen to want it to be a more smoky flavour, then I'd recommend building some sort of barrier to keep the wind from blowing the smoke in a different direction. Again, I'm not too fussed about this as I have marinated it, but the smoke is kind of going up a bit, so should add a smoky flavour. But if you do want to have it more smoky, then I would recommend having a barrier to prevent the wind from blowing it in a different direction. Right, it's time to leave this now. I'm going to do some clearing up and we'll come and check on this in a moment. So for my food, I have got some beef and tomato sausages from the Considerate Carnivore, same place I got the meat. This isn't a sponsored video, by the way, by them. I just really like the stuff that they do. So again, check it out if you want to. I've not tried these ones before. I've tried quite a few of their different sausages they do, but this is a first for this one for me. So I'm quite excited to see how it goes. But let's have a look and see what they look like. Oh, they smell so nice. So they're really, really chunky. But yeah, so the plan is I'm going to cook these over the fire that I've got. Got some sticks. I'm going to very carefully, without causing any sort of issues, pierce the sausages onto some sticks like that. I got 4, so I can have some for later because I am going to be here for a while, but I'm going to start off with cooking 2 for now. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to have it so it's over the fire like that. I'm going to leave those there so they can cook. I might have to move some of the coals over this way a bit more just so they get a bit more heat, and I'll just have to occasionally watch them. I think those are going to cook really nicely, and I should get a bit of a smoky flavour from it. I'll tell you what, I can smell this up here and that smells so good. So I'm just feeling underneath the meat here just to see what it's like, and it is starting to dry up a little bit, but it's still quite soft and squishy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it dry on the side that it's facing downwards for another 2 hours, and then I will flip it over so I can dry this side. So I'm going to leave this for a bit. I'm going to leave those to cook and we'll check on them in a minute. So the sausages are done and they have come out quite nicely. It took about 20 minutes of cooking, but worth the wait. I'll tell you what, I am absolutely starving. I got these fancy Hovis rolls. Not that it matters, but yeah. Now I also got this from the butcher's, which is called Hot Star Honey, and it's Caribbean barbecue honey sauce. And I thought I'd give that a go. It says drizzle on sausages, steak, jerk chicken. Oh, I tell you what. Oh, that smells really good. I absolutely love sauce on things. People think it ruins stuff, but I just like it. It's my favourite thing to do. Also, I have brought myself some Cosmic Drop. I grabbed this in the shop. It's from Beavertown. It's watermelon punch beer. I thought I'd try something very different again. I've never ever tried this before. It's supposed to be quite a popular company for beer. Watermelon punch beer. We'll give that one a go in a second. But I'm starving. I really want to try this. That is really good. The sausage is absolutely amazing and the sauce is really good. The bread's bread, sorry. It's quite a nice combination though. The tomato sausage with the barbecue sauce that's got the honey and the spice. I quite like that. Right, let's give this a go. I don't know what else to say other than it smells like beer and watermelon. So the watermelon is extremely subtle. I can't, you can smell watermelon, but I can't really taste it as much. It's nice though, quite like it. For a person who doesn't drink beer that much, this is quite a subtle drink. Beavertown, really nice, thank you. Actually quite pleasant. I'll have to try some more Beavertown stuff. So it's been a few hours now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start flipping these, and yes, it is going to take some time, but this is the reason why we are flipping, because as you see, you're getting these marks here, and that is because it's on the sticks. So I'm going to spend some time flipping these and then I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. So I managed to flip every single one. Now as you can see by the colours, this is where it has been resting on the sticks, so we need to let those dry up as well. What we need to do is leave this for another couple of hours and see how we're getting on and see if they need to be flipped again. So it's been another hour and a half and the beef jerky is looking really good actually. If I show you, yeah, it's drying up really nicely. It's a lot firmer now, which is what we want. So it's looking really nice. I reckon probably at least 1 more hour if I really want to push it. 2 hours and then this will be finished. But overall it's looking quite nice. I am getting a bit thirsty again, so I thought I would grab a kettle and I'm gonna put a cup of coffee on. Might as well make the most of the fire. So it's been some time now and I've checked the beef jerky and it is ready to come off the rack. Now it has been 5.5 hours of doing this. The beef jerky has come out quite nicely, so I'm going to take it off the rack and show you guys. Right, so that is the beef jerky off of the rack. So this has taken 6 hours of drying. I'm very happy with what I've done. I'm very happy. But just to show you as an example, this is one. Now what you're looking for is for it to tear quite nicely like that, and yeah, that is perfect. And on the inside it is very dry. There is no moist bits. That is nice. It's time to give it a taste test. I tell you what though, I really like that. The taste is really nice. I think the only thing I would do is I would probably add a bit more spice to it. I like spicy stuff. But it's good. It's turned out really well. Very happy with that. So there we have it. That is how you make beef jerky outside on a tripod. No oven, no fancy stuff. Until next time, I hope you all have a lovely time, and I will see you in the next video.